So I would call the walkway a project that is a folly. It was not realistic to think, for anyone to think that you could take this crumbling old dangerous railroad bridge and make a tourist attraction out of it. When Fred came, he convinces you that because he thinks it's possible, you can think it's possible. There were an awful lot of people who were doubters, including me. And when he asked our family to contribute toward it, I was very reluctant and gave a little bit of something and said, well, I'm not going to give you a lot of money for something that has no hope of being completed. And why would I do that?
Like, you're going to put a what there? And why would people want to walk by? Why would they even want to go there and walk across it?
A lot of them really thought it was crazy, and they thought I was crazy.
There were many people, including myself, yeah, okay, Walkway Over the Hudson.
He made it happen because of his obsessiveness, his compulsion to do this, and his clarity of vision. This is what he wanted to have happen.
Till I saw it being built, and then I went, wow, this is bigger than life. This is much bigger than any of us expected it to be.
He's pretty brave.
He cared about his vision for that thing, and he convinced a lot of other people that it was realistic, and he started raising money for it and did it.
Fred Schaefer, he never backed down. He never backed down, and he was determined, and he's a determined, wonderful man.
The projections for the walkway were that they might have 200,000 people a year come, and I remember before it was finished, I said 200,000 people, that's an awful lot. That's too optimistic. You're never going to get that. Well, in the first year, they had something like 700,000. Extraordinarily successful, far beyond anybody expected.
It's spectacular. Not only for exercise, it's just a great place to walk, and you meet people, and you know, the people bring their animals, and they look over, and the view, though, that you can see down the river.
Then they get out toward the water, and they're over the river, and they're 200 feet above the river, and you can just see in the countenance of these faces that were mired in automobiles and traffic and their normal lives, that this is something completely different. And you watch them, they get animated, and they say, boy, this is really cool. Look down there. Oh, there's a boat. Wow. And somebody swishes by on a bicycle and say, look at that guy. Boy, is that neat. And it's a change in attitude. It's a change in facial expression. And for me to watch that happening is and it happens all the time. And it's just a great pleasure.
I've always been an avid bicyclist, and I had gone to Massachusetts, and I was on the rail trail they have out in Massachusetts, the Shining Sea Trail, and I just enjoyed it so much that I said, this is the way to go. And I immediately started thinking about the Duchess, the old Maybrook line becoming a rail trail. And in 1993, when IBM downsized and this area was hurting for economic reasons, I wrote an article promoting bicycle tourism. I had been up on the Poughkeepsie Highland Railroad Bridge, walked across it in 1993, January, on a cold day, and fell in love with the view. And I said, why not turn that into a trail?
What do you remember about that day?
It was breathtaking. When you walk out on the bridge, it's 200 feet above the Hudson River. It's quiet and it's peaceful. You had this tremendous view of the Hudson Valley. I thought to myself, everybody's got to see this view. And it literally was breathtaking when you do it.
Did you have any idea that morning that that was the first day of the next 20 years of your life?
No, I had no idea at all. I knew I would get behind the project. I knew I would help, but I thought I would just be a sort of a minor player in the postcard of they built a bridge in New York City. And it was a hard thing to convince people to get behind the project because people could not visualize it. New York State to give us the money. I would email people that I thought might be interested, and I would say, meet me at the Walkway. I would email about 20 to 30 people knowing that 5 to 10 would show up and would take them out. Over the years, I've estimated I took about 2,000 to 3,000 people out in that manner. Once they were out there, it would take their breath away, and everyone agreed it would be a good idea to do. Built in 1888, it was the longest bridge in the world when it was built. And it was an engineering marvel. They laughed, much like they laughed at the Walkway project back then, because they didn't think they would ever be able to bridge the Hudson River. It's 60 feet by 100. So they built the equivalent of 4 10-story buildings in the Hudson River in those days in the 1880s. It's just amazing. I carried a little packet of a little envelope with 10 to 15 photographs, and people would joke because here comes Fred with his photographs, and some people would kid about it, but it was that exposure of people understanding the potential for it, seeing the bridge, seeing the view, and seeing other examples that at least opened their minds to the project. Not everybody jumped on the bandwagon right away, but once enough people jumped on the bandwagon, everybody did.
The Walkway Over the Hudson has produced an influx of visitors and tourists, and it has made a marked, measurable, and visible impact on the economic state of the city of Poughkeepsie. It's quite remarkable to see that. So that when you ask if investing in rail trails makes a difference, it sure does.
One of the best things that's ever happened to us around here.
All right. You seem like you're here most mornings?
Yeah, we try to walk every morning around dawn.
Terrific.
So it's a good way to start the day.
Yeah.
Frank has lost about 40 pounds.
47 pounds I lost.
Yeah?
I love it.
Yeah? Do you use it very often?
Every day.
Yeah?
Every day.
What do you like about it?
Oh, it's fresh air. You meet people. You talk. It's getting out, enjoying the air. Coffee in the car. Yesterday afternoon, it was from 7 o'clock in the morning. I drank it. Was ice cold. It was fine.
Ecstatic. I'm very happy, and I'm enjoying it immensely. Not only do I see the beautiful view, but I meet people from all over the world, and everybody does love it. People are using it on a regular basis. There are people who are losing weight, people whose cholesterol has dropped. People walk it, bike it, knowing that they're improving their health. And it's every nationality, every color, every size, every shape.
How you doing?
And I kid every breed of dog that comes up here. Hey. There's cute little dogs. Some of them are dressed with sweaters on in the winter. And some of them are gigantic. I've seen the largest dogs I've ever seen in my life up there. And to see families getting out, you'll have parents with 3 or 4 kids with them, either walking on bikes or in strollers, just to see everyone enjoying it and smiling. This is when we put the final panel in the bridge. 973 concrete panels, which were 32 feet by 6 feet over the river, and they weighed about 18 tons. And on the final day, we put the last one in on September 17th, 2009, about 2 weeks before we opened. And luckily it fit well, and the bridge was finished. And now it was the first day I really knew we would get it done in time to open. And we did the construction in 18 months, which was an unbelievable feat to get it done. We had no accidents at all, and we would never stop doing construction. So when the final panel went in, I really felt comfortable we would open 2 weeks later on time and on budget. Yeah, that was one of the most emotional days of my life. And my advice is to get the whole community involved. I think the success of the Walkway dealt a lot with speaking to community groups and getting them out there to see it and build that groundswell of support.
It was very windy.
I'm up there all the time, and when I bike across, I talk to people. Nice day out, Mike.
Yeah, not too bad.
Good morning. You know, people will come by and say hello. I enjoy seeing that become a part of the culture of the Walkway and the rail trails that connect to it.
What's going to set us apart, make us the best in the world, are the volunteers.
The goal of the ambassadors and my goal is to make this the friendliest park in the world so that people come here, they not only enjoy it, but they remember that the Dutchess County, Poughkeepsie, and Highland, and town of County of Ulster is a good place to go, and they're friendly people.
Right.
And you only have to be up there 5 minutes to see it happen. People are friendly, they smile, and that makes it an enjoyable experience.
Right. Was that a pretty typical?
Seeing everybody up there, knowing they're up there smiling and enjoying it is just, you know, reward enough. You know, my own grandchildren and my 5-year-old now bikes across the bridge. One day it was cold, just a month ago, and I said, Zach, you know, we can go on the trail if you don't want to go on the bridge. And he said, no, I want to go on the bridge. And I recognized at only 5 years old, he appreciated biking over the Hudson River, enjoying it.
Something you probably reflect on a little bit with some satisfaction.
Oh, yes, yes, yeah, and I think it's great, and my granddaughter loves it. She comes up and with me to open the gates when she's up here visiting, and you know, she thinks it's Grandpa's bridge, but show you the church. There's one church that got nice steeples, which is beautiful.
We're on the silhouette. Yeah. Let's make sure there's separation. We don't want to, you know, make it look like one huge body. Right up the middle of the bridge, Fred.
Yeah. Beautiful morning.
Yeah.